Coming up in the Bahamas tonight, Labor prepares to meet government in the hopes of industrial harmony in the year ahead. Tonight, what the Labor Minister is saying in the lead-up to talks with customs, immigration, and other aggrieved workers. This convicted child rapist appears in court today. We'll tell you what sentence he's about to serve now. And lobster lawbreakers on the increase and the big price the multi-million-dollar export market could pay if they aren't reined in. All those stories and more straight ahead in the Bahamas tonight.
Covering the islands of the Bahamas, ZNS Network presents The Bahamas Tonight.
This portion of the news is brought to you by McDonald's. McDonald's, I'm loving it.
Good evening and welcome to the Bahamas Tonight, the National Report. I'm Keishla Adderley. Thanks for joining us. Topping the news this evening, a lot is riding on talks set for this week between aggrieved unions and the government. On Wednesday, Labor Minister Dion Fowkes will meet with the Trade Union Congress, under whose umbrella the fledgling Customs and Immigration, Sandals, and other unions sit. And with one union awaiting a strike vote approval, Minister Fowkes is hoping that this week's talks will begin to ease the tensions. Here's Clint Watson.
We are going to do everything in our power to ensure industrial peace, both from a union perspective, the workers, and also from the employer. It is to the benefit of both sides and for the country to have industrial peace.
Labor Minister Dion Fowkes outlining the government's tone for labor relations in 2012. In fact, ahead of Wednesday's big labor meeting with the Trade Union Congress, Fowkes says the government wants the matter resolved, recognizing the importance of these workers to the economy. Taking it a step further, he's adamant that a solution must be reached.
I'm in direct conversation with the Prime Minister, who has responsibility for customs, and with the Deputy Prime Minister, Mr. Brent Simonet, who has responsibility for immigration. And we're going to come up with, to the best extent that we can, solutions to the various problems and issues which have been presented to us.
Customs and Immigration Union executives will be there. So will Sandals Union negotiating team and executives from the Trade Union Congress. On the table, outstanding grievances and those issues needing a resolution. Fowkes is optimistic about the meeting.
As you know, our bread and butter are the airports and the seaports, and we are determined to do everything in our power to bring a resolution to all of the issues.
And with such a priority and sense of urgency now being given, why were these issues allowed to get to this point?
This is all part of the industrial relations procedure. Any union or employer, for that matter, which has a grievance can present those grievances to the labor board, and the matter goes through a process. And I am happy that the process is being observed by both sides. And I am personally involved with the negotiations.
The minister says, by and large, when you consider what's happening globally in labor relations and the unrest that many countries are experiencing, the Bahamas is still better off than most. He says the government plans to keep it that way. Clint Watson, ZNS News.
After months of negotiations, a 4-year contract was signed today between the Hotel Union and San Salvador Resort Club Med. The agreement features a 13% salary increase for 150 employees at the property. Hotel Union President Nicole Martin is pleased with the outcome of those talks.
It is actually our very first contract as an administration that we've negotiated from start to finish. And we're quite pleased with the outcome of our negotiations, and we look forward to our continued working relationship with the operators of Club Med San Salvador. It has been a very cordial negotiation, one where both sides recognized the difficulties, and eventually we were able to conclude the negotiations without incident.
Club Med's Director of Human Resources, Chris Keenley, says with the economic recession still an issue, the new contract couldn't have come at a better time.
We feel that this agreement represents a solid relationship between the Hotel Union and Club Med, fostered over many years of agreements signed together, and 30 years of presence of Club Med in the Bahamas. Both parties really, both teams, negotiated very well, very hard, and we believe resulted in progress for all the employees, as well as an important economical viability necessary in this difficult environment today.
It's a showpiece which towers over the Queen Elizabeth Sports Center, and in less than a month's time, the doors to the Thomas A. Robinson Track and Field Stadium and new opportunities for business will open. Shanique Miller has more.
It's a moment the country will pause to celebrate. The historic impact, so significant, Bahamians will talk for decades of where they were the evening the National Stadium opened.
Well, this is going to be really the biggest event that we've seen in the Bahamas, I say, since independence 1973.
Culture Minister Charles Maynard knows the new stadium brings with it a fresh interest from the international community. So come February 11th, his ministry will have the Bahamas' finest on display.
We want to have a large and life event. We want to try to involve as many Bahamian entertainers and talented young people as we can in the overall ceremony. And so far we have an exciting program that we're putting together.
The grand opening will be a test run of sorts so that Bahamians and international sporting and other bodies set to attend can see firsthand what's possible.
We've even invited major officials from the governing bodies of track and field and soccer worldwide, and so they have agreed in principle to be a part of the ceremony as well.
International guests as well?
Yes, we have international guests, and of course the Chinese government is scheduled to send some high-level delegation as well to participate in the ceremony.
With a seating capacity of 15,000, Maynard says the aim is to have Bahamians front and center.
I think it's going to be a larger crowd than many have ever experienced, and so it's going to put a lot of things in perspective for Bahamians, and so we're reaching out as deep into the community as possible to get as much people excited to come and to be a part of this historical event. We're working on a special accreditation for the event in terms of those who come as patrons. They're going to get a special commemorative accreditation that they could keep as a keepsake to remember this large grand opening.
Now, the new Sports Authority legislation will cause a 9-member Sports Authority Board to be formed. Maynard says that happens soon. And while there is still tidying up and landscaping to do around the stadium, the inside is stunning with everything in place. And while he could not provide the cost of the opening ceremony, Maynard says the mileage to be gained will outweigh any cost.
It's an investment. We want the world to see that we're ready to host major events. We already have a number of international organizations who have some events that they want to bring to the Bahamas, and so we want to show them that we're capable of doing it and capable of managing the crowds in and out the stadium.
Shanique Miller, ZNS News.
Well, still to come in the Bahamas tonight, a convicted child rapist reappears in court today. Find out what he'll be serving time for now.